Hello again, this is Alex with MasterChartsTrading.com, and this is market recap for Friday, March 31st, 2023. As always, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with others. Your likes, your shares, your comments is what keeps this channel going, so don't forget to do those actions. Tech stocks are breaking higher. This is obviously good news. I will explain I will show you the breakout levels and where the bullish levels are. Junk debt again confirmed that stocks are back in an uptrend. This is also obviously good news for stock bulls. I'll talk about actually silver, gold, and copper today. And silver, I think, is ripe for at least a slight pullback as dollar might rally in the short term, but long term dollar is in a downtrend. And again, we'll talk about copper and its relationship with the stock market. If you are a subscriber, stay tuned. There is a separate video coming. Notice that we are going to cover quite a bit of various securities, crude oil, natural gas, various stocks, stock ETFs, various country ETFs, individual stocks, as well as many of the speculative stocks and some of the gold miners as well. So if you're not yet a subscriber, consider signing up by going to the description of this video and following the link. All right, on this chart, we're looking at S&P 500 futures, ticker symbol ES1 exclamation point on this interface called TradingView.com. TradingView.com interface is this. It's free. So on this chart, I'll get right to the point. Right now, if we're not yet in an uptrend, I think we're going to be very soon. So on this chart, notice that we have four horizontal lines: the green, the blue, the red, and the yellow lines. These are my indicators that you can find out more in the description. They show good support and resistance levels. So currently we're below this blue support resistance line. Once we close above this blue line, we will consider the security, in this case S&P 500, to be in an uptrend or bull market. We can also turn on the future projection of these indicators and notice that they're kind of coming down towards price action. In fact, you can see that we're so close. Let me see how far are we. We're 1% away from closing above this blue support resistance line. Where I'm hovering right now, 2nd of February. We kind of came close and touched that level. Notice right there where I'm hovering. I think this time would be the charm, and I think we will close above it and confirm our bullish posture. The important recent development, of course, today's development, in fact, notice that today we closed above this white line. So this white line, I simply drew it as a horizontal line over March 6 high, where I'm hovering right now. Notice that that's where we found resistance, and then we found resistance around that area again on March 23rd. We came to it on March 30th on Thursday, and today we broke above it very convincingly. So notice very strong candle. Today's candle basically is entirely green. That means that bulls or people who think that stock market will continue higher were in control of action from the beginning of the day until the close of the session, Most likely we'll see continuation Monday, Tuesday of next week. And finally, we will put to rest any doubts about the nature of this market. And I think we're going to be in an uptrend. I think we're already in an uptrend. In fact, I am holding stocks. I'm holding NASDAQ. I bought it way back when. I bought it I'll show you my position. Just a second. I'll show you my position once I get to NASDAQ. So on this chart again, I think we are. I think stock bulls can pretty much rejoice at this point. I think stock bears. Notice this downward facing arrows, by the way. So this downward facing arrows, and they're purple in color. I started putting them in here from November, and I think all of them were bear traps. Bear traps happen when you think that the security is in a downtrend, you open a short position, and it goes against you. So pretty much everything from late November of last year were bear traps. Here I can show you what a true bear market looks like. There's a opportunity to sell short here in August and again in September, and there was a follow through to the downside. In fact, those were actually alerts, short signals, and notice they're red in color. They were sent to my subscribers. Now, right now, again, I think we're already in a bull market, but I think once we close above this blue line, currently at 41.81, and once again you can see they're coming down, so indicators are coming down, and the bottom of the indicators, or the where it stops going down, is going to be on April 20th. Now, if you're a cannabis connoisseur, then you will know that it is a 420 or April 20th. That is the day and also the code for cannabis consumption. So that was the joke, and you can make a comment about it. Notice on NASDAQ, and I'm moving on to NASDAQ now. So NASDAQ came from the lows here in the December. Nice big move up until 2nd of February. Then we had like a small shallow dip, and now we're breaking above those levels. So notice I drew in the same kind of line, white line, that started here from the highs of 2nd of February. And notice we broke out above it yesterday on Thursday, the March 30th, and of course we followed through today. Again, we're so close to this blue line meaning that we are in a bull trend, uptrend, and I think we're almost the guarantee that we're going to close above it, because just the way it's curved down, I think we will close above it pretty soon, I think. Also, if I just turn off the indicators and we're going to look at the price action itself, and if you like, chart patterns, so this is a very kind of classical chart pattern. We have a move to the upside, we have sideways consolidation, and we have another, and then now we have a breakout, and then we should have another similar move or higher or bigger that we had before. So I think very likely we will continue higher. Stocks will continue higher, possibly taking out new records, possibly going to new records, most likely this year. We can look at weekly chart, for example, of S&P 500, and the record were set back in January of last year. For stocks to make a new record is not a big deal. Can turn off the indicators just to see what's it like. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So the records are, let me show you where they're at. So they're 16% away. This is a new record high, is at 16% away. But if we look at Dow Jones, we actually are much closer to records already. And I have shown this potential cup and handle, or inverted cup maybe, in the past. So if we break to new records, this pattern, the depth of this pattern would be duplicated to the upside at least. So we're looking at Dow Jones at 44,000, probably before the end of this year. Once again, that's if we break to new records, and I think I think we will. It does look that way. Anyways, looking at NASDAQ here, I'm gonna show you my position. So I began suspecting that we're done with a downtrend way back here, like in beginning of December, late November actually of last year. And then I did go ahead and enter NASDAQ, where I'm hovering, on January 20th. I bought QQQ at around 280 per share, and I'm holding it still with a very nice profit already. And I think if we break above this blue line, again, we could make a new, we could continue significantly higher, especially if we come to new records, and we could just keep going there. Now, this is despite all of the craziness going on in the world. I think we should just sort of ignore the news and concentrate on the stock or on the price action. So as far as NASDAQ is concerned, again, this is a good looking chart. We have a breakout above this previous high from 2nd of February, and we're again approaching this blue support resistance line, which is very good news. Russell 2000 got completely slammed. This is that Silicon Valley Bank collapse. But notice what happened. Notice that this chart, notice that this yellow line proved support. So multiple occasions where the price tried to pierce through, but it didn't actually go through. Finally, right there on the 24th of March, we had what it looks like a hammer candlestick, and now a rally. So I think again, because of the correlations, stocks correlate highly to other stocks. So Russell 2000 small cap index of stocks correlates highly to other stocks, and I think if Dow Jones and S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are moving higher, then Russell 2000 will absolutely follow it higher. Russell does not exist in a vacuum. Looking at high yield bonds, this is JNK. So again, why do I care about high yield bonds? Because of the correlations between various, or rather, because of the correlations between high yield bonds and stocks. So this is looking at, this is junk debt on weekly chart. And below here we see a correlation coefficient to the S&P 500. Notice that the correlation coefficient to the S&P 500 is very high. In other words, when S&P 500 goes up, junk debt follows it higher, and vice versa. Right now we have correlation of about 66%, but it's generally speaking high. And I think in this case, actually, we're seeing high yield bonds lead the stock market higher, which is, I think, a good news, which I think is very good news. In fact, junk debt broke out before S&P 500 broke out here in February. And now, again, we have a confirmation, a second buy signal today. So overall, I think stocks are in a relatively good position. They're not terribly expensive. And I think if we get to new records, we will see a significant move higher after the new records are made. Provided, of course, no major war breaks out and the stock markets and markets in general remain open at the very least, because it has happened in the past. For example, when the World War II broke out, markets were closed for several months. And I think during the after the attack on the Pearl Harbor, same thing happened. Excuse me. Looking at dollar index DXY, dollar index, I'm going to show it to you first on the weekly chart. Dollar index topped out on September 26 here, last September of 2022, and kind of started making lower lows and lower highs. So Right now, I consider for forex instruments, like for example US dollar index, to be in a downtrend when we close below this red line. This happened right there on 12th of January of this year. So at that point we said no more uptrend for the dollar. Now we are in a downtrend. Couple more downward facing arrows. Again, those were short signals. Right now, on last one was on March 16th of this year. Right now, dollar is precariously balanced. I think it's already having a really hard time holding on to this yellow support resistance line. However, just looking at the future projection, there is a decent chance that dollar will at least try to bounce. And the reason why I think that is because I was looking at charts of precious metals, specifically silver caught my attention. So silver also broke out in a new uptrend again. Now silver is quite volatile, so do be super careful with it. And there's that breakout back into an uptrend on 22nd of March. However, notice the way the indicators are curving down, and they're going to be bottoming out here on 12th of April. I think it's reasonable to expect for silver to pull back towards the about 21.90 level, about $22. And by extension, I think dollar um, will at least attempt to rally a little bit. Now, nothing is, of course, written in stone. Dollar could just collapse. Dollar is in a downtrend, no question about it right now. But a small bounce is not out of the question. So we need to watch into the near term. I think into like mid, maybe second or third week of April, and see if dollar will bounce, and if, for example, silver and gold will pull back a little bit. So I'm going to show you gold real quickly. Here's gold. Gold is unequivocally in an uptrend. We are long gold. I am long one of the gold miners, meaning that I bought it. Long versus short. So I had a really hard time understanding what long meant when I was just starting out. So long means we want to buy it. It's going up. So there's the breakout into new uptrend for the gold right there on 13th of January, Friday the 13th. Another excellent opportunity to buy gold right there on 10th of March. Nice big rally. Looking at gold on the weekly time frame, I already showed this, but I'm going to show it again. There is a good chance, once again, that we will see a massive move higher for gold if this pattern comes to pass. So this pattern, I kind of drew it in here. It's sort of like a double, I don't know, cup and handle, maybe you can call it. Very roughly, the depth of this pattern is a little bit over 20%. So it's, again, quite possible that this same pattern will be duplicated on the upside, meaning the move will be duplicated to the upside. So if the depth of this pattern is about 20% and we're going to project it forward high, then we can say that gold will probably go to at least 2,500. And I think if it gets to this new highs, basically we need to close above 2020 highs, August 2020 highs. If we close above the August 2020 highs, we will very likely get to the 2,500 level sometime before the end of this year, possibly, maybe the beginning of next year. So if you're going to be buying options on GLD, I would consider buying at least a year out, but maybe more, so that you don't get prematurely stopped out. Okay, so silver, and very briefly I want to touch copper. People also call copper Dr. Copper. So Dr. Copper. Why is it called Dr. Copper? So I not a big fan of this correlation. So this is copper versus S&P 500. So on the bottom here is a correlation coefficient to the S&P 500. So you can kind of see that it's not ideal. You can see that it's sort of all over the place. But generally speaking, I guess you could say that it's more positive than negative. So Dr. Copper thinks that if copper is in an uptrend, dollar or the S&P 500 is also in an uptrend. Looking at this particular chart, this is copper on daily time frame, meaning that each candlestick is a day's worth of activity. We had an attempt at a breakout into a new bull market right there on Wednesday, the 18th of January of this year, but it was so far rejected. But once again, we're approaching this level, and also notice that the indicators are curving down, so we're almost there. So if copper is appreciating, the thinking goes that if the copper is appreciating, meaning that people are using copper in various things. For example, houses. Houses use a lot of copper. That's a good thing for the economy. So if copper is appreciating, stocks should also appreciate. What do you guys think? Make a comment. I find this relationship somewhat difficult. Notice again because of the correlations, but I think maybe copper behaves more. Maybe there is more relationship to the dollar, if anything. If the dollar is cheaper, then copper would appreciate. So perhaps that's the reason. All right, that's it for this week's recap. Again, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video, make a comment. If you are ready to sign up, head over to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on products and sign up for one of the products. I have the indicators. I also have the trading newsletters I send out every day. And on Fridays, I also send out a weekly recap. So sign up for that. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you for watching and have another great trading week. Bye-bye.